So a little fun fact about Ken. He's obsessed with lights and different light bulbs and everything about them. Even our Amazon Alexa just randomly puts light bulbs in our carts.
It's quite funny how often light bulbs just randomly show up in my Amazon cart, but I only got like 65 smart lights in the house of different colors and like 400 different colored themes that we could do. I'm not that obsessed.
Not at all. But when it came to lights on our airplane, I knew I had to let him take this one.
So our original plan for lights on the airplane were, we checked the box on the tail kit and the wing kit when we ordered it from Vans to include the Aero LED lights. Didn't really do a ton of research into it, but I've always known Aero LED was a good company and was probably the lights we were gonna do. What I didn't realize is when you do that through Vans, that covers your strobe lights, your position lights on the wingtip, and your tail light.
Yeah.
It does not include the landing and taxi light. So at Oshkosh this year, I was going to finalize my plans for our landing and taxi light.
And the rest of the lights.
Yeah, just the landing and taxi lights is all we had to deal with. So I've been looking at, of course I was going to go Aero LEDs and see what they had, and they have a good option.
And Vans had the new thing out with the wings.
Yeah, they did have the new wingtip that's made by Aero LED, where they combine the landing lights, strobes, and position lights into a Cirrus-like wingtip. And it looks nice, but it's like $4,500 for that. I never really seriously was considering that at the price point. I also didn't like the fact that it's all built into one unit, so if one light goes bad, how much work do you have to do to replace a light?
I didn't look into that.
Yeah. So, but I had looked at Fly LEDs before going to Oshkosh and wanted to talk to them at Osh, because I know that Paul is always there, about the landing and taxi light. So I was pretty sure we're gonna just put Fly LEDs into the lead and edge, and then keep the Aero LEDs on the wingtips and tail. Simple, right? Nothing's ever simple for us. So we did an interview with Paul at Oshkosh, which through our technical challenges, I recorded no audio during this interview. And it was a fantastic interview with Paul at Oshkosh that, I don't know, I'll publish it so you can read maybe? No, not so much. But during that interview, you can see me kind of recalculating my plan, because the way Fly LEDs works is, granted, you can do the quad or the 7-way spot in the lead and edge. Oh, the 7-way spot would be...
It's so insanely bright.
Yeah. I think it's overkill for what we need. The 4-way quad option that he has. I've seen videos of pilots flying on short final at night with the light off and then turn the switch on, and wow, it lit up the whole airport. So we're definitely going to be fine with the 4-way quad. But when it comes to the wingtip, he has 2 options. It's really the same option, it's just how much you build on top of it. You have the original package or the standard package, or the works. The original package covers the little circuit boards that go inside the wingtips on the front and side and give you strobe lights and position lights with LEDs. The works is the same setup, but adds 3 of his bright LED spotlights for landing and taxi light. 3 is still plenty, but you're putting the landing lights and taxi lights way out to the side, so you're going to still end up with that dark area in the center before they can converge, which is why I really want to still leave the spotlights on the leading edge, which brings them halfway in the wing and gives you less of a dark spot. But with the works package, this is the wingtip with the 3 lights in the wingtip, you get the option because you have his controller board as a part of it. So when you're flying at night and you have strobes and landing light on, and you land and you turn the landing light off, the board will recognize that, take your strobes, automatically put them on solid and dim them to about 30%. And what that's doing is casting a white light off to the edge so you can see the runway edge and the taxiway edge. But you only get that by default with the works package, because it comes with the controller board. Not only do you get the lights in there that do it, but you get the controller board to control the lights and do things like wig wag, which we can handle through other things like the VPX and the Garmin. So talking to Paul, he says, I can sell you the controller board in addition. Get the original package, buy the four-way lights like you want. I can sell you the controller board separate. So if you're interested in it, ask Paul from Flyleds if how much he wants to charge you for that controller board. I don't remember how much we spent on it, but.
So what was it that sold you on the Flyleds? Like, what feature was it?
Well, twofold. It's like what sold me on the landing lights first, the quads. They're just simply the brightest. Mm-hmm. They are, the way he is able to put heat sinks on the back of it and keep the weight down allows those lights to run brighter without problem. So without a doubt, they are the brightest LED landing lights you can do. And then that feature that'll light up the edge lights for me, the edge of the runway and taxiway, is what pushed me over the edge to say I'm not installing Aero LEDs. We even went with the Fly LED tail light so that our strobes will flash in sequence. At first I was like, okay, I'm gonna do everything, but I'm keeping my Aero LED tail light. And as I said it, I knew it was like, why have one component that doesn't match? But Paul let me know that if I go with the Fly LED's tail light, then everything will flash in sequence. Small thing, but yeah, we're all in. Let's do it right. So when we order it, now keep in mind, Fly LEDs is based out of Australia. You can order it from Flyboys, no relation, except for they partnered up. Flyboys is a US distributor for Fly LEDs, so you can sometimes do better on shipping by ordering from Flyboys. Don't know if you can get the extra controller board if you go that route or not. Just talk to Blake at Flyboys, talk to Paul at Fly LEDs. I'm sure they'll take care of you. Man, Paul's such a cool guy. We're gonna have to figure out how to get him on the channel somehow. But when you order it, the one thing I didn't take into account was that he has an option for like $150 extra, and you might have to pay this multiple times with multiple kits, I don't know. But for $150 extra, he'll do the soldering for you.
Yeah, you messed up on that one.
I did. I figured how bad could the soldering actually be? Then this box showed up. 2 landing lights, the quads, the wingtip strobe position lights, the controller boards, everything in this box right here.
Multiple instructions.
The circuit boards that all the lights will end up being soldered onto, the strobes, the position lights, they will all end up here, all wired. And as you can see here, there's parts everywhere. There's the controller boards, the clamps, the even the little housing that the lights will go into. It's not an overall difficult project. He's got good instructions that go with it, but it's going to be
a task.
It's going to be a couple-day task. So if I had it to do over again, I would have paid the money to have them soldered. Luckily, we have a friend who came and set his first rivet and signed our airplane, who says, man, I love that kind of work. It's like I do it my day job, and soldering is just this happy place for some reason.
Yeah, he enjoys it.
So Fabio's going to take our Fly LED kits and probably do a lot of the soldering for us. And I can trust him. He's embarking on his own journey to build his own RV-14 here shortly. So I'm really looking forward to doing that. I wouldn't mind doing the soldering work myself. And if we didn't have 8,000 other things going on in our life, I probably would. But if I have the opportunity to have it done for me, why not?
I'm sure he'll let you do a couple of them, you know.
I'm sure he'll save at least one for me. But soldering is, and Paul's instruction from Fly LEDs walks you through it. And starting with, make sure you get the right solder gun. Not all solder guns are created equal. You want the right one that can do the right temperatures to do a good job soldering. And then, yes, with Fly LEDs, I have to think about where am I going to mount the controller boards? Where am I going to, it's going to be a little bit more wiring, but Stein knows how to work with Fly LEDs, so they'll make sure the wire harnesses all match up and are programmed correctly. They know how to make the wig work the way I want it to. So I think we're in good hands, and I'm actually really happy with the decision to switch from what we were going to do to Fly LEDs. So check out Fly LEDs at their website. Also check out Flyboys to purchase your Fly LEDs if you're here in the US. Look at their different options. They got different configurations if you're doing the tail dragger versus the nose wheel. You know, how it angles the taxi light so that you'll have good coverage. Well thought out product. And it doesn't weigh that much. You know, all the lights all said and done. I don't know.
I think about 3-4 pounds.
3.5, 4 pounds is what this box is. I probably should put it on the scale and measure it, but it's not that much. And there's a lot of packing still in here. So, you know, I think weight-wise, we're in good shape. And it's going to look great on an airplane. Now we just have to figure out how we're going to do custom colors on the inside of the cockpit.
Slow down, buddy.
I have a rheostat added on our panel just for that. So yeah, it will be there. We need like disco mode inside the airplane. No. Well, that's our story about lights. So, you know, thank you for joining us in 14 Victor Echo.
See you next time.
With lights.